Right, so we're here with Touché Amoré. It's Clara and Chris from Punktastic. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Caught a bit of your set. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Big crowd.
Yeah, it was crazy.
One of the biggest you played.
Yeah, but I would probably say that or Heavy Fest. You know, it was overwhelming. It was crazy.
All those kids singing back those words to you, it's just, I mean, you kind of expect it to be busy, but not as busy as it was, and it was just incredible.
I honestly had no idea what to expect because, like, whereas Heavy Fest, it's kind of it kind of hangs around the same sort of genres, you know, like it's a more punk bands or like metal bands or whatever, but a festival like this where there's like The Cure playing and a lot of, you know, look down the list here, there's so many different kinds of bands, so you don't know if like all the punk and hardcore kids bought their tickets, so you don't really know what to expect, and to have a reaction like that at a festival that's so, you know, like legend, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was watching the crowd from the kind of outskirts, and the energy was so insane between not even just the front kids out down the front, but literally all through the middle and through the back.
Yeah.
They were all screaming and they were all singing, and it was just, the energy in the room was just so cool. Did you guys feel that, experience that?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the fact that we even had technical difficulties, and it's a lot of times really hard to come back from that, you know, like, because the energy in the crowd starts to die down, and then on stage the energy's going down, and on top of that you're getting frustrated, so to have the crowd still be there for us was really quite nice.
I didn't even notice you had any.
See, now this is what's funny is normally
You wouldn't have noticed. There we go.
What's great is that normally I absolutely hate stage fog. I think like that is the corniest thing, and they were doing that to us, and I think the stage fog masked the fact that the bass drum broke.
Somehow helped us.
Yeah, you couldn't see what was actually going on, because what was going on was the bass drum got kicked through and they had to change out the whole drums. But yeah, they masked it.
First note of the first song, I broke my strap. It was one of those sets where everything that you dream is gonna go wrong goes wrong. But I think, like you said, like the energy of the crowd and seeing people up front even and out back having fun, it kind of brings you back into it once you're like, okay, I got the new strap on, we got the new bass drum in, like it becomes fun again.
Yeah. So how do you build yourself up for these shows? Because they are quite intense.
Definitely.
I mean, do you have to go through anything before you go? Is it just this
I think we all kind of have our own little thing that, you know, we might, you know, whether it's just stretching or thinking or even just a text from home, something like that kind of puts you in the right, you know, headspace to go up there and do what you have to do. Correct. Absolutely, I had no expectations at all. I was just excited that, I mean, what I've been basing the whole thing off of was when I first saw the lineup, and just seeing where we were put on the lineup, like the fact that our name was right next to Saves the Day, the same font size, and I can speak for both of us and say that Saves the Day has been a band that, like, you know, we've in a way grown up with. So like getting to be next to them, same size, and then like having, you know, bands even under us that we're fans of was just like, okay, I don't know who these people think we are, but this is ridiculous. So going into it like, okay, we'll probably get to play to at least a decent amount of people, and to have a reaction like that, like, yeah, it beat all expectations.
And when it comes to set lists, how do you prepare a set list for a festival as opposed to like your own headline?
Well, it's funny, we actually have the club set and the whatever set. The club set is basically the same set but added like, you know, 2 or 3 songs in each block. But I get a kick out of writing set lists most of the time because it's like, in a corny way, it's like making a mixtape.
Yeah.
Like, whereas having the songs transition into one another really well. So that's like, I've always gotten joy out of like, oh, well, this part could go into this kind of a thing. But it's always confusing, I feel, to people who have no idea who we are, because it sounds like we're just playing one entirely long song between each break.
Yeah.
like we did that Rise Against tour earlier this year, and I would probably say 99.5% of the audience had absolutely no idea who we were, and we were playing to like, you know, between 6,000 and 10,000 kids a night. So we were playing these what seemed like really long songs, and there'd be a part where you're like, all right, well, I feel like we've lost the crowd. Like they're just staring at us like a deer in headlights, but then there would be like a steady bass drum beat, and they would start clapping along. And you're like, okay, they don't hate us.
I sort of noticed I saw you in Barfly last year in London.
Okay.
And it might be earlier this year.
Yeah, I think it was earlier this year. Yeah. No, when you said that, I was like, was that already a year? Jesus.
Yeah. But you put after that towards the start of the set,
right?
Obviously, you put it towards the
yeah.
So you slowly go from saving the hits to last.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you have to sometimes, because we played those 2 new songs.
Yeah,
and
they were good that night.
Oh, thank you. and to recover from 2 new songs where the crowd has no idea what you're doing, like okay, well, we should probably play a song after that everyone knows, so they don't.
And it's the same with when writing for an album, like arranging the set tracks, listening for the album.
I mean,
like peaks, nothing down.
Since we've been home, we started writing for our next record, and there's already been one song where I was like, this song should start the record, and we've only written 4 songs, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I don't know if something better will make sense to start the record, but so far I feel like that's the one, you know, like you just kind of get, I think if you're a big fan of music and how albums can connect with people just based on like when certain songs impact you, I think that helps build tracks.
There's a really cool thing in London that they're doing now. It's called like Vinyl Sundays, where they pick a vinyl and you just listen to the whole album all the way through, because now people listen to just singles and things that. But they're really like bringing back just listening to an album as a full body of sort of work, and I think that's really great.
Yeah, for us, I know, you know, both of us are big vinyl nerd guys, and for us, I think that even the moment where it goes from side A to side B is so important to us. Like, just as a band, we've always been like start here, end here, and then start here again. Like, that's always been an important thing to us. And all of my favorite records, like the opening track to the ending track, that's what makes the record. Is like that the closing track is so beautiful, and the opening track starts the record in such a correct way, and it's always been super important to us. And like even when we were talking about Sellers before, that same thing where it's like, let's start with energy, let's move here. That's always been an important thing to us.
Yeah. Are you guys big record store day fans?
I am. There's things I like about Record Store Day, and there's things I dislike about Record Store Day. I like Record Store Day for the fact that it gives, it lets a lot of smaller stores that may not get a lot of attention get a lot of business that day, so that hopefully people will come back. What I don't like about it is that is the like pushing how limited stuff is type of a thing to like build a profit off from companies that like you kind of feel don't really give a shit about that sort of thing. You know, like major labels doing like, oh, we're gonna do a limited number of this. It's like, you guys don't care about this. You only care about this one day a year. Like, so I don't like that aspect of it. Because I mean, every day should be Record Store Day. Every day should
Record Store Day.
Exactly. Like, but there's good that comes with it, there's bad that comes with it. So I've chosen to just sort of throw my hands up and be like, hey, at least people are buying music.
Yeah, I think that's a good sort of thing. I think sort of Record Day is a better sort of final sense rather than sort of things like you said, it's not commercialism about it.
Yeah.
It's quite sad to see, I think that's in a way. But you did get some
yeah. In a way, like I hate to call it a necessary evil because I don't want to use the word. I think evil is kind of too strong of a word. It's a necessary. like we've supported it. We had a Record Store Day release, you know, like that we put out through our friend, and it was like pretty minimal, but it's, you know, I like that it does put kids in the record store actually, you know.
I think it's really interesting that that's the one sort of format of music that hasn't just gone out of fashion. It's now even more people are getting into it.
Absolutely. I mean, with downloading being what it is and how downloading completely ruined the music industry, we support downloading 100% because I mean, if you buy records and you enjoy vinyl and you are a record collector, you can download a record. Like, I do this. Like, I'll download a record, and if the record's not that good, I'm not going to buy it. But if the record's awesome and I download it, I'm excited about it, I'm going to buy it on vinyl because I want to own it on vinyl.
What do you think of things like Spotify?
You know what's funny is I don't have a Spotify account. I'm aware of what it is.
I have Spotify.
I've never used it. It seems like a good way to check out new bands, and that's cool.
I think the main controversy with Spotify is how little the artists get from the listeners.
I didn't know artists get anything, to be honest.
Yeah, like
It's nothing. I
like
think.
coming from that perspective is like I use Spotify pretty much every day. And I'm in a band that has our entire discography on Spotify, which I was very surprised to find out.
I had no idea.
Literally, the splits, everything is on Spotify.
That's cool.
And I'm actually super grateful for it, to be honest. I think something like that is kind of the next step, which is that with the internet, with the connectivity of the world, you know, now that if you live in America, you live in Europe, you can be connected in such a personal way. I think Spotify is an interesting, cool way for you to discover records because, like he said, you know, I go on Spotify and I discovered like an Iggy and the Stooges live record that I never had heard before, and it blew my mind away. And the next day, I went to the record store to buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's important for me to support music and to support all of that. And I think Spotify in some way supports that because they give you the option to listen to it, they give you that, but there's nothing like owning the physical, the actual thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing like it.
Especially a vinyl piece, which so is
And you compare the size of a CD versus the size of a record. Right, the size of a record is so much more. You're getting so much more from the artwork. You're getting so much more from the record than a CD, than a cassette. It's such an accurate representation of what a band wants to present.
It's a band, they support you actually Apologies to Have. From London, they put out the vinyl piece for their album this year. And it was incredible. They had a map printed with all kinds drawn and a seal on back sealed letters.
Yeah.
That kind of thing makes it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. It's the ultimate presentation of a band.
See, that's the upside of that's what you hope to have achieved with Spotify. That's what you hope to have achieved. But unfortunately, in 2012, a lot of the younger kids are just like, music comes out so fast and it fades away so fast, and there's one thing onto the other. So a lot of times it's a lot of kids just being like, oh, I want to hear this, so now I'm going to listen to this for 5 minutes, and then now I'm on to the next thing, and they don't actually purchase it. So there's the upside and there's the downside. You know, like
But at the same time, would those kids even hear the music without Spotify?
Who knows?
You know, like I would rather a kid listen to a band and maybe go to a show, maybe buy the record, than never hear it at all.
I mean, by experience, I know they've got this whole related artist feature on it. Listen to a band, you click on that.
It's how you
That's
find
actually
new
really
bands.
good, actually. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
used that a lot.
So going back to you guys, is anyone else you're looking to catch while you're
Here at the festival?
Yeah.
I'd like to see The Cure.
Yeah.
I thought the Gaslight Anthem was on our day, but but they're not, I guess. But we just played with them at Pupil Pop, so we got to see them there. But I was hoping to see them again.
Yeah.
Their new record is great.
I'm a big Paramore fan myself, so I would love to see Paramore.
How do you not aging films, so I think they could be some new material.
Yeah, maybe actually.
I hope they play all the songs I want to hear.
Yeah. And what's next for you guys after the UK?
We do a full US with Circus Survive and Balance and Composure and Oh Brother. And then we go to Australia with Make Do and Men, and then we come back here with Converge.
Yeah, that's just been announced.
And then a new record.
And then a new record, and then we're,
And if you could have like a dream festival lineup, who would be on it?
there's already a Dream Festival lineup. It's happening in LA, and we're not on it this year, but it's FYF Fest because that has every single band that I want to see right now. Like from American Nightmare, Converge, to Desaparecidos, to Two Galans, to Quicksand.
I'm super stoked to see James Blake. He never plays.
Yeah,
It's got,
I mean, there's
from every genre you can think of
Absolutely.
that you want to see, FYF Fest has just knocked it out the park. So
we've played, like he does a lot of our shows in LA, FYF Fest, and we played the festival last year, and you know, like in terms of festivals, they they really do
He knows
knock
what
it
he's
out of the
doing.
park. Like,
Yeah.
he knows, like, a guy like me wants to see American Nightmare and I want to see James Blake. You know, like the complete opposite genres.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I want out of a festival.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to chat to us, guys.
Absolutely.
Good to see you share with me.
Thank you so much.
See you later. Cheers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.